Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be so much paper.
That's good.
Yours?
It's alright.
Did you get on TV this morning?
No. I got
Justin
there at,
Lowe was there.
oh yeah. I got there at 6:20, front row parking, walked in,
Didn't got a hat?
got a hat, bought some stuff, and left.
What is that?
Orange Friday.
Fleet Farm.
Fleet Farm.
Wild.
That's
Yo,
so
I
weird.
heard that. That was happy before that, Dad. That's crazy years.
Yeah,
Hey,
crazy.
find me the inverse.
It wasn't
Good warm-up problem. Here we go. So, first thing we have to do to find the inverse is we do...
Flip the X and Y.
No, not yet. Even before that.
Change it to the Y.
Change it to the y. Got to change it to the y first. So we get y. 17. X to the 5th minus 84. Now what?
Switch the X and the Y.
Now we switch the x and the y. Oops, I didn't put it far enough. Then, got to solve for y, right?
Plus 84.
Plus 84.
That's what I was told.
Divide by 17.
Divide by 17.
Push Jake up. Got it. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
We're going.
Fifth root.
Fifth root both sides?
Yeah.
And then
Do the inverse thingy.
m in this case.
Can you still smell it? Bro, it literally smells like a farmhouse.
What's wrong with farms?
It smells.
What's wrong with farms?
Doesn't smell good.
No, there's nothing wrong with
There's nothing wrong with them.
Go-
They just
go to
smell.
Hunterland.
You like that pretzel rod you're eating?
Go
Thank a farmer.
Go tell
Thank a
Hunterlander.
farmer.
Go tell Hunterlander that his farm smells. That's what he says.
He literally put me across the
There you go. There's your answer. That's exactly right.
Alright? With me? Alright. So, now, today I want to play a game.
Seven.
checkers. Hey, I did it. Tic-tac-toe.
I want to play a game called Function,
Oh.
Not a Function.
I don't like this.
Yeah. Alright? You've played it before.
This game, I'm not good at.
Can you say it's everyone's favorite?
It's sweeping the nation.
It's a function no matter what for me.
Okay? Rule number 1. You know it already. How do we play function, not a function?
Can you use your brain?
Okay, we use more than our brain.
What did you last?
We use our pen and paper.
Our soul?
Our soul.
What do I use to determine if a graph is a function or is not a
The
function?
line. Vertical line.
The vertical line test, okay? So I am going, that's rule number 1. The vertical line test tells me if what I'm looking at is or is not a function. Okay? Vertical line, put it on there, slide it across. Okay? Rule number 2 is new. Rule number 2 is the horizontal line test. The horizontal line test tells me that if the inverse of what I'm looking at is or isn't a function. Same rules apply. You can only touch the horizontal line in one spot as it goes across the graph. Okay? So, we've got two rules, a horizontal line test and a vertical line test, which means that's going to give us a possibility of 4 outcomes. Okay? What I'm looking at could be a function, and its inverse could be a function. What I'm looking at could be a function, but its inverse isn't a function. What I'm looking at isn't a function, but its inverse is a function, and what I'm looking at isn't a function, and its inverse isn't a function. Okay? 4 possible outcomes. Okay? Now, if the graph passes both tests, so it passes both vertical and the horizontal line test, then we call it a one-to-one function, and we can find the inverse.
Oh, which one is I put this in my mouth?
Someone's. He snorted.
That's great. I'm over it. Not the first time I've heard somebody snort. Probably won't be the last.
Yeah, because you have Allison Slaughter as a student.
Okay? Right?
It's not. She does this there.
So, if a graph passes both tests, then it's one-to-one. Classic NTC question. And let's be honest, NTC is going to be writing your final, both first and second semester.
Oh boy.
Classic NTC question is, determine if f of x is a one-to-one function. If so, find its inverse.
Oh boy.
That's scary.
Okay? Take the whole pack?
No. I'm there.
So yeah, she did take the whole bag.
Was I supposed to take that back? I was like,
Yeah.
this is a lot, right?
So, what I want you to do is, for all of these functions, for all these examples, if you will, I want you to make an educated sketch of the graph. Okay? Educated is important. Then, I want you to determine if it is a function. Then, I want you to determine if the inverse is a function. Then, if it is one-to-one, I want you to find what the inverse is. Okay? So, an educated sketch of this graph. Give me a point that is on the function f of x equals 2x squared. 0 is a number. 0, comma 0. Do we agree that 0, comma 0 is on this function? How do we know? I don't plug 0, 0 in. Because there's no y to plug it into. I plug in 0 for x. 0 squared is 0 times 2 is 0, so my y outcome is 0, which means it goes through the point 0, comma 0. Okay? So on your sketch, make sure that you're going through the origin. Give me another point that it goes through. Would you have it? You were right. 1, comma 2. Okay? Plug 1 into the function. 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. Outcome of 2, so it goes through the point 1, comma 2. Give me another one. Negative 1, comma negative 2. Does it go through the point negative 1, comma negative 2?
Yes.
No.
No.
Negative 1, comma positive 2?
Yeah, that's what
Yep, because negative 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2, so it goes through the point negative 1, comma positive 2. Based off of what you know, what is the general shape of this graph? It's going to be a U, right? Okay? Alright? So this is our educated sketch of that graph. Okay? Question number 1 says, is this a function?
Yes.
Passes my vertical line test? is the inverse of function? Why not?
Like that. Right. Good thinking, Debbie. I was thinking the same thing.
So is it 1 to 1? No. We could find the function, or we could find the inverse, but we don't have to because it's not 1 to 1. Okay? Do the same for this one. Give me a point that this function goes through. 0, comma negative 2. Give me another one.
Why? Does it go through 0?
Because I put 0 into the function and I got out negative 2.
1, negative 1. 1, comma negative 3. I have a big brain.
1, comma negative 1. Okay. Like it. Another one.
Negative 1, negative 2. 1, negative 1, comma negative 3.
Negative 1, comma negative 3.
Oh, I get it.
Yes?
Huh? Oh my God.
What else?
Oh, see it.
2, comma 6.
I was just gonna say
3, comma 25.
That's what we're doing.
Agree?
Yes.
I agree.
Function. Thank you. Function, not a function.
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 No.
Not a function.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a function.
That's
From
not
what
fine.
we can see, it's
Function?
Yeah. Wait a second. It's also vertical, right? And it's inverse too. The test would.
no.
But like, it's a straight line at that one.
Inverse.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like
What's
This
the inverse? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it goes. It looks like it might pass.
No, it's not, because by the time it gets to that point.
What? I was like,
Is that like?
oh.
Is that like
Hey, no, that's
infinite
one
right there?
point,
Like
right?
in between everything right there.
It actually, if we zoomed in, it would be increasing
It'd be a vertical.
up to negative 2, and then it's continuously increasing. Yeah.
So it is.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So cool. So cool. Oh, I get it now. Right.
So what does that mean?
It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
It means it's 1 to 1.
Is that what it's called? A 1-to-1 ratio? Or is it 1-to-1 function?
1 to 1 function.
That's on me. I didn't know. What is a ratio? What is a 1-to-1 ratio? Real question. Real talk. Behind fingers? I need this
So since it's 1 to 1, we were asked then to find the inverse. How do I find the inverse? Change f of x to y. Then
What jump already?
Plus.
Ben?
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to switch around first. Cube root, each side.
Okay.
Oh.
Do the same.
In the box, we pass it.
I said you did it right.
We pass it positive.
I don't see a box at all.
And the lines.
Give me a point that it goes through.
0, 0.
It does not go through 0, 0.
0, -2.
Yeah.
0, -2. Do we agree that it goes through 0, -2?
Yes.
Yes.
1, comma, negative 1.
1, -1. Do we agree with 1, -1?
Yes.
2, comma, 0.
How do we what? How do
Put
we?
it in the.
We put what in?
You put any value in the x.
So what x value did you put in to get -1?
1.
1. So we put 1 in for x. Absolute value of 1 is
1.
-2 is -1. So it goes to the point 1, -1.
What -1 and 1 also mean? Inverse? If you did -1, it'd go to 1. -1.
Okay, so it also goes to the point -1, -1.
Yeah, that goes on both sides.
Right? Okay. Another points that it goes through.
2, comma, 0.
2, 0. Do we agree with 2, 0?
Yeah.
Yep.
Negative 2.
-2, 4. Do we agree with -2, 4?
-2, -2. Yep.
Do we agree with -2, 4?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Of course not.
-2. You plug that in, it goes.
Negative-
That's 0. That's
negative
0.
2, comma, 0.
-2, 0. Do we agree with -2, 0?
Yes.
Yes. That should be enough to figure out that our picture is a.
It's a V. It's a V.
It's a V. Yeah.
And that's both a function and a. No, it's not. No, it's not. It can't be that.
Jacob, you should have probably been paying attention a lot sooner than just now.
The inverse function.
Yeah,
It's not an inverse.
It's not an inverse.
Keep telling yourself. All right, function, not a function.
It's a function.
It's a function.
It is a function. Yes, it passes my vertical line test. Inverse, function, not a function.
Nope.
It's a no. Do I need to find
Nope.
the inverse function?
No.
I don't need to because it's not 1-to-1. Okay? Again, a function is 1-to-1 if both the function and the inverse pass the two tests. So it's got it. The picture has to pass the vertical line test and it has to pass the horizontal line test. Okay? That makes a function 1-to-1. Okay? Today, I am going to be giving you 2 worksheets. The first worksheet that I give you is more practice on this stuff that we just did. The second worksheet that I'm going to give you is the review worksheet in preparation for your test. Your test on radicals and inverses will be on Monday. Okay? So you have a test on Monday in this class.